Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to the next in our series of webcasts that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly as part of our Roadmap to Recovery series from this COVID-19 pandemic. And you can all see that I'm joined by somebody very, very special today, and someone who's not been on a Travel Weekly webcast before. It is, of course, Eamonn Holmes off the telly.
Off the telly, that's me.
I know. So listen, I'm so delighted you've joined us, Eamonn. You are something of a hero in the travel industry since earlier this week, because we saw you on Good Morning Britain talking about the fact that travel agents are going to come into their own as a result of this crisis. You were talking about it strengthening their hand. So perhaps you could just tell us a little bit more about what you think.
Well, maybe I'm very naive, but they never really went away with me, travel agents. I'm just one of these people. I couldn't see the benefit of why I would use my time in an area that I knew little or nothing about, surfing the internet, to independently book my travel, my taxis, my aircraft, my transfers to hotel, my hotel separately. And like a lot of people, I'm just busy. My father had this saying, I hope people understand it, the sort of Irish saying, which is, it takes a priest to say mass, which basically means each to their own. You know, you have to be an expert in your own field. And I always believe that. Do what you do and let others do what they do. So I have never been one for thinking, and any time this has happened to me, why am I booking my own airline? Why am I trying to get the best price? Why am I bringing my suitcase to a check-in where I label it myself, I weigh it, and I put it on a conveyor belt? What is in this for me? What truly is in this for me? Now, people may say, oh, you're in a very good job, you can afford to use a travel agent. Well, maybe I can, but I certainly do not mind paying an extra percentage for an expertise, for a service, for something that just makes my life easier, for people who've been there, who've done it, who've got the t-shirt. That's the sort of person I am. And when I was at school and I left school, so many people, their ambition was to go into the travel industry, to work in travel agents. And I know so many people I grew up with and who work in the travel agency business, and I've watched it at its strength in the 70s and 80s, and then its decimation after that. And Lucy, honestly, I just look and I think, why? It's like when I go to the supermarket, what's in it for me to put the items through the till, to pack them in a bag, to carry them out? Have we all gone insane that we actually say we are now going to pay for the privilege of doing somebody else's work for us? And what I see about travel agents are amazing professionals who have an expertise, and that's why I want to use them. However, now that we're in this pandemic, how many other people are wishing that they had booked through a travel agent because they're left high and dry? So if you use yourself, all your own means, to check on board a flight and get your hotel accommodation, you're now left to undo the problem. This is all fine if everything goes well. It's not fine when it doesn't go well and you're hanging for hours and hours waiting for a phone to answer at some call center somewhere, to be answered by someone who's not interested in your dilemma or answer your question specifically in a bespoke way. And I suppose I'm singing in praise of how bespoke the service is. And maybe it's going to come back in vogue, Lucy. Maybe it's going to come back where people say, do you know what, for another 3, 4, 5%, I'm prepared to go that for someone who will look after me, someone who will be there at the end of the phone.
Oh, and that's what you said, actually. You said they were a thing in the past, and you just talked about there that, people have moved on to do their own thing, and we call it DIYing, and they've just done their own thing to perhaps save a little bit of money. But you said very clearly earlier this week that you thought travel agents would be the future. So do do you think many or enough consumers will now go, right, I'm not having my fingers burned again, I'm going to turn to the travel agent?
Well, a lot of us say my life's going to change after lockdown. I'm going to do things differently, whether we do, whether we don't. But it's not that I'm going to do things differently. It's just reinforced my whole belief that I do what I do and I will leave it for a travel agent to do what they do and be very happy about what they do. Because one of the things, even the choice of holiday, I'm the sort of person that I go, everybody makes the same claim. Can you trust the sites that recommend and say, oh, I've been, this is great. You don't know how accurate these things are or not. But I want to trust someone and say, have you been to this hotel? Have you been to this resort? Have you flown with this airline before? What should I expect? What shouldn't I expect? And that's just me. I love that whole service. I would think a lot of people might say, is it really costing me a lot extra? Is it really? And why wouldn't I do this? It's like, any sort of broker, an insurance broker, we're left to sort out our own deals. Well, I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough to sort out my own deals. I think I would rather use an insurance broker to tell me that is the best deal available for you in this range for the cover that you're looking for. And I feel safe and sound and content in the knowledge that a travel agent has done the footwork, the groundwork for me. And I would like to think there are lots more people like me who will have now had their fingers badly burned. It's a complicated business going abroad. It's a complicated business getting,
and more so now because there's so many
also,
restrictions.
And the fact that through natural disasters, political upheaval, government policy changing almost week by week on certain things, well, I think I really want someone there looking after my interests, and that's what I think about travel agents.
Well, it's brilliant. And Eamonn, I don't know if you are aware, because I think people were tagging you into an awful lot of social media this week, so you must have seen a lot of it. But people had taken that clip of you saying that travel agents of the future, and they've been sort of spreading it far and wide. And the reason is we've had a really, I know everybody suffered from this pandemic. There isn't a single person that won't have been affected, but the travel industry, I think, was the first into the crisis, as borders were closing, and we're probably going to be one of the last sectors out of it. And travel agents particularly have, their revenue has come to a standstill because no one was really booking holidays, and of course they've had to pay back the refund all the people who had booked holidays earlier in the year. So they're in such a tricky place at the minute. So I think your words there were just, as I said, you're a bit of a hero. You've become a legend in the travel industry. So
well, Lucy, I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. And I'm a people person. I work in a people industry. People who work in the travel business, the travel agency business, they are people. They care about their customers. They interact with their customers. They know their customers rely on them. And that's what I think a lot of this is about. And that's what I mean about this being the future. It was the past. It's everything that I knew. It's everything that I had stayed with. And I honestly, obviously there are occasions where you have to travel independently, or you have because of other people in your group or whatever. But it's not for me. For me, the past, the present, and the future is travel agency. I'm not that sort of person that wants to be totally independent anyway. I like the idea that someone says to me, Mr. Holmes, have you ever thought of doing this? Here's an extra trip that you would like, or these restaurants that we could recommend. And if you take a coach trip here, or you go there, or you get an independent driver to take you, or you do this, that, whatever, that is their contribution to my otherwise boring holiday, because I'll end up doing nothing but sitting by the pool. So I want to tap into someone's expertise. I want to tap into their advice. I want to hear what they have to say. And, these guys are the experts in that field. So why not use them? We're not experts. We're all naive. We're innocents abroad. We are all innocents. To expect most of us even to remember to take our passports or the right currency, or do we need a visa here or there or whatever? It's asking an awful lot, because we are all innocents abroad, or most of us are.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, You've said everything that agents would be music to their ears, Eamonn. And are you going away this summer, Eamonn, or are
No. We've
you're
got, I mean, our heaviest work period comes during the summer. And I mean, I think the fact that things are so changeable, and I know that the travel business relies so much on us. I do a lot of commuting back and forward to Ireland, so I suppose my priorities change this year. But we'll see how it develops. We will see how things go. But first and foremost, I mean, we've got to keep safe. We've got to keep well. We've got to make sure industry, including the travel industry, has as much support as possible. And I say, better being in a club of a travel agency than outside it on your own.
all right. Well, listen, we can't thank you enough for supporting our industry and for taking the time to talk to all of our readers at Travel Weekly today. So, Eamonn Holmes, thank you very much for joining us.
And thank you very much indeed for having me. Thank you. And good luck, everybody.